Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel this week, and if you're new here, this is your first time, then welcome. Today I'm going to interrupt our series on the challenge journal that I've been making, the one that I introduced last week called You Go Girl, and that's because I have a pair of journals here that I have been working on. They are Easter themed, so I wanted to get those out there and in the shop to give people a chance to purchase them before Easter. These journals are very similar to each other, but they're not identical. So I'm going to go through one and kind of talk about it, and then I will quickly flip through the second one. So before we start, grab a comfy spot to sit, and we will meet right back here after this intro. Let's get started. So like I said, these are both for Easter. They're very similar, but not identical. And I had hoped to get them filmed for last week and actually show you these last week, but they just weren't quite ready. They weren't quite coming together. And so I just went ahead and took the extra week and made sure that I was satisfied with how they were looking before I produced them to everybody. So let's start with the covers. So these are both based on a children's book series called Alice in Bible Land. These are both the same story, and they contain the pages of the story throughout. And this one is titled The Story of Easter. They have 2 signatures and approximately 70 pages total. The spines, as you can see, I've done one in green and orange fabric, and then this one in a green with white hearts fabric, and so they're similar again but not identical. I decorated the logo that was on the cover. I made a couple of flowers here. The one with the green spine has the green center. The one with the orangish fabric has an orange center on it. So that's kind of how I'm telling them apart. So green hearts and orange and green flowers is probably how I'll do it in the listing. They both have a tie closure with this yellow organza ribbon, and I have put a little bit of fray check on the ends so that you can use it with confidence. Hopefully they won't fray over time. That should keep it from fraying at all. I kept the inside covers and this cute little graphic of Alice. I love this, and it's the same on the inside front and the back covers on both books. So here we have patterned cardstock, and then my second one is a sheet of vellum. These are a little bit different in each book, but they each have a vellum piece here. And then we start with the original book page. This is scrapbook paper, and I just made my own faux postage stamp strip to decorate the edge of the page with. If you would like to see how I made these, I actually have a video from last year when I started working on these. Oh, I forgot to erase the page numbers. I've got to go back and do that. I'll do that when we're done. Anyway, I have a video from last year showing how I made these, and I will link it up here in the cards for you, and then you can go check that out. So I do have stamping throughout where it was appropriate, and then both of these have a little prayer pocket that I have made out of an envelope. So they each say, "Turn your worries into prayers," and then I've just decorated them up. This one has a couple of pieces of paper inside. I have a little strip of vintage lace up here, and then more scrapbook paper. This is just a cluster, and I glued it kind of 3 sides, so these should tuck up in there and stay pretty secure. But there's a journal card and then a scrap of paper, and I don't know if you can see that or not, but I punched down here at the bottom, so it just has a little cutout right there. Most of these scrapbook papers were thrifted, so A few are from my stash, and I can't remember if I actually specifically purchased anything or not for this journal. I also lined the pages here with lace. I feel like I'm not in frame. There we go. Here's a belly band made with a strip of wallpaper, and then just some little pages here that can inspire and encourage you for reflection. And these are just cute little stories about a little girl who she opens her Bible. The whole series is called Alice in Bible Land, and when she reads her Bible, she goes through the Bible and kind of like steps through the Bible pages and into history and lives the Bible stories over again. So they all have kind of a common theme, and as these are the first two that I was able to finish, and as I get more of them done, I will be showcasing more of these as I go. I started last year with 15 of them, and then I kind of lost energy and steam and ran out of time, so I just put them away. But these two I wanted to get done for Easter this year. Here I have a pocket right here made out of this pretty journal paper, and then I made a tag. It says Praise the Lord on the front, and it's blank on the back. Lots of room for writing. I just decorated it up with a piece of gathered fabric strip and then a little crocheted piece. This I think I did buy for these journals because of the watercolor and the pretty colors of it. Match the pastels really well. We have a pocket here, and in the pocket I've got a piece of notepad paper, flashcard, your This Book Belongs To tag, and another Bible trivia card. I have this side out because the colors match better with the paper, but it is a Bible Challenge card. That's the name of the game. On this, I had Mod Podged a piece of napkin, and then from the fly leaves of the books, I cut out that same image that's on the inside cover and just affixed it. Each book has one of these This Book Belongs To cards. They're slightly different. Here's a piece of gathered fabric that I just glued to the page, and some stamping. This is such a wonderfully bright, vibrant paper. I was really glad to be able to use it in here because it matches the colors of these books perfectly. This is the center of the signature. Now I have left the strings kind of long. I didn't tie them off or anything. I was debating on punching out some butterflies and putting them on here, but I'm just not 100% sure that that's what I want to do. So what I will do is include the butterflies when I send along the journal, and if you want to glue them on or you can trim the strings off, it's up to you. Just have some more pretty stamping here. And this one has blue lace. Here's another pocket with some tickets, a Hermelinda tag, and I did stamp on the inside. Can you see that? There we go, up at the top and down at the bottom. And then just a journal card made out of one of the scraps, so that it's plain enough you can write on the back. Book page. This came out of a children's Bible, but it's the index and all of the places that they were talking about, so it's in alphabetical order, so it kind of looks like a dictionary or whatever, but it looks really cool in here. These are pockets. I have one in each book, and I found them at the thrift store, and they were just perfect with the chevron design. So I didn't fill them, but I added one in each book. I have stenciling, as you can see, on some of the pages. Here's another journal card. It is plain. And then this, what I have here, is a little piece of, it was just like a Post-it note kind of pad. So this is still a little gummy. It's not too bad. And then I just folded it up to turn it into the letter, and it already has this on it. So I have a whole little notepad, and I don't remember where I found those, but they're really cute. And since it's talking about she's going to visit, and it's kind of like a letter, like, let me show you on this page back here. The bird, the dove, the airmail bird brought her a note. So that's why I put these in here, because it's kind of like a piece of mail that she got. Oops. Got that stuck on there. This is a piece of computer paper. I thrifted some of this, and I like the stars and the happy colors. piece of vintage music paper from the 70s, from children's music. And then throughout, I also have some clusters and things that I had made, and wherever they looked cute in here, I just included them. So it's kind of got a variety of things. These kinds of things like the pockets, the clusters, they won't be identical book to book, but the ephemera is fairly much the same. These are just index cards that I stamped on the front, and then I punched a decorative edge, and then the backs are lined so you can journal on them. And then here I made a little pocket out of this fabric cluster, and then I just sewed on a charm with a cross and then stamped right here. Here's another little cluster I made, more stamping, and then just a flashcard, a scrap of paper, and a guest check. And then I have some of these cute little bows, so I thought that was really cute up there at the top of the page. Here's the other half of that prayer pocket, so you can write down your prayers and slide them in there. And this has a window on this side, so I decided to go ahead and make a journal card. I don't know, could you see that? I feel like I'm all thumbs and fingers today. So there's the journal card, and then when you slide it back in, you can just see it through the pocket, through the window. More stamping. And then I also have some stickers here that I had purchased a couple years ago for my mom's birthday party, and they have all these lovely soft Easter colors, so occasionally throughout both journals you'll see where I've put some stickers to decorate up the pages. And we're coming to the end of the first signature. This is a piece of vintage lace I found when I was out thrifting a while back, but I really like the color, and I love how it ties in with this beautiful cardstock. The outside pages of both signatures are cardstock, and the inside pages are primarily paper. I don't think I included cardstock within the signature, but it's been a while since I put them together. So some stamping, fabric flip, and then children's manuscript paper. And I just stamped up there and stapled a cute little fabric tab. Here's another cluster, and I have an image here of a child praying. Little stamp says amen. And then another journal card, tag for Easter. Cute little Easter themed tag. I used to have those in my shop. And then another tag that I made. Kind of looks springtimey. This is a different page from another children's book, but I just liked how the pictures tied in. Some copy paper. And again, I'll be erasing the notation, so I got all the pages in order. And then on this piece of scrapbook paper, I ran it through my printer after I cut it down to size and just printed lines on the back. Then I went ahead and stamped, and then I have these really old stickers from Creative Memories that I bought, mid-90s, maybe late 90s, and they've been just sitting in my stash for forever, but this was the perfect project to try to use them up. This is a page from a vintage children's hymnal, and I don't remember the date, but I'm thinking it was the 50s. I added another ruffled strip here. Ooh, hope you didn't hear my tummy there. I'm not even really that hungry. Then I added a charm to a bulb pin here, and I kind of think of these like an Easter lily. I don't think that's necessarily what they are, but that was just kind of what I had in mind when I added those. Another sticker. And then this here is another cluster that I made, and then a giant journal card. I had been given these scraps of watercolor paper, and they were perfect for these journals. So as I continue to make more, you're going to see more of like pieces made from the watercolor scrapbook paper and these kinds of things. There are elements that are going to be identical throughout all of them. The stamp strip page, the watercolor cardstocks and other things. Everyone will have a paper sack, and everyone will have one of those chevron envelopes. But here's a piece of notepad, writing paper. Just another little journal card that I stamped up and made from a scrap. and another card that I made from index card and just sewed on a fabric tab cluster kind of thing there at the top. Here's another pocket, and in here's just some ephemera. This is a sheet from a Family Feud game. It's like the answers sheet or whatever. Here's a paint chip. And another scrap of cardstock. That one had been coffee dyed. And then another Bible Challenge trivia card. Some coffee dyed copy paper. And it has a little bit of the pattern from the plastic doily that I had used in it. This is a sack. And I used the part where the sack folded up and just made a shallow pocket here. I added kind of a little label there. And then I made a little envelope here out of a scrap, and it just has a tiny little journaling card in there. It says Grace. And I added one of these cute dimensional bows, and then this is a flashcard from a Bible trivia game. And they just fit right in here. And then this side of the sack, I went ahead and cut it open, made a notch, and then there's a journal card in there. And here we are at the center of our signature. It's kind of plain, but I kind of like it. I had stamped on a piece of muslin here to reinforce the center, so I kind of left it. That's all the decoration it has, but I really like it. It's very bright. This is the other side of that sack, and in here I have just a piece of notepad paper and another journal card cut from scraps. And then in this pocket we have a little page from a devotional and some tickets, and then another Hermelinda tag with some different stamping. Maybe you can see it if I hold it this way. You can see both sides at once. And then I had made a long time ago these little donut embellishments. They are a lot of work, so I did not continue making them, but they were really cute to add in here. So you got a little donut embellishment with sprinkles, sticker up here, and another one of my clusters I made. And some more stamping. I kind of liked the swirliness. What happened was I had done the pink, but it wasn't vibrant enough, so I layered some green over it, but I like how it looks all together. Another piece of computer paper, found at a thrift store. And then here I just punched a flower shape, and then I made a faux bird's nest with some leftover threads. Bird's nest is coming untucked. And then these little pearlized beads that I put in there to look like robin's eggs, so that's fun. It's kind of very dimensional, so it doesn't lay super flat, but I really like it. I thought it was really cute in these. The other side of the children's hymnal page, the other side of the journal page with lines that I added. And this was thrifted. I really like that paper, really pretty. Some more stenciling there, children's book, stamping, and then on this side, this is a children's activity book, and then a vintage copy of What Am I? Bible game. I don't remember how old those are, but they're pretty old. And here we go. And then we're towards the end of the story. On this page here, I just added some pretty fiber to this paper clip and clipped on an envelope. I attached a piece of ruffle here and then just stamped on the back, stamped on the front, stamped on the page. And then inside I just have a piece of notebook paper. So you can add that anywhere if you wanted to just add it to the page, or, oops, I put that on there upside down. Or you can use it as like another prayer pocket where you can put your secret prayers in there and maybe write in there when they're answered, just record it, or on one of these pages here. And we are at the end of the book. So this one is the one with the green heart spine. And now I will quickly go through the one with the orange and green flower spine. And I'll show you again the buttons. Show you that again too. See? And then I will just flip through the pages very quickly because, like I said, they're they're not identical, but they're very much the same. So a lot of the same elements, a lot of the same papers, just maybe in a little bit different order. Here's that vellum piece, and this one has flowers instead of iris. My postage stamp strip. There's a prayer pocket, and inside I just gave you some note paper. And this one just flips down on this side. I added some lace, stamping. Here's some more vintage lace. This one looks like Easter lilies. It was just a little scrap I had. Right here is the "This Book Belongs To" tag. Blank on the back, and it just tucks in here. And then this is just a strip, and I liked it because it kind of matches the colors here. Again, the wallpaper belly band with some papers and things in there that you can write on or use to journal prompts. And here we are again. Another cluster that I made a tuck spot and then just tuck some things in there. There's a little journal card. And another scrap of paper. When I originally assembled all of these, I was cutting pages and things and papers to fit all at once. So like I said, there were 15, and then I got overwhelmed and ran out of time, so I just put them away. Stenciling. So scraps from the different papers in each one will be used as journal cards and things in the various journals. Kind of carry over from one journal to another. Here's some more of that Bible, the index page. Another pocket with our ephemera. There's the notepad paper, guest check, flashcard, and the Bible challenge game. Fabric ruffle. And then there's the center of this signature, and this one is bound with yellow and kind of a variegated yellow and cream, and then the other one was bound with a pink variegated twine. It's a crochet thread, actually. And I did double strands of it, which was very tricky. Okay, more ticket, the other Hermelinda tag. See, that's how that one's decorated inside. I like the element of surprise when you open up the tag and then you are surprised because there's a little stamping in there. Another flashcard. I also liked this little image right here. I left this plain. You can put whatever you want on the back side. There's that little like airmail kind of a post-it note. And some more of the kids' vintage music. And then on this pocket, different elements, but the same idea with the charm, and then the same two journal cards, same images stamped on them. I punched with the same two edge punch stamps. And then I don't know if you noticed, but back here I put a little bit of stamping on both of them. Another tuck spot, and then these elements here. And then here's the other half of our prayer pocket. And as you can see, I made it show through the window. And then this one has that vibrant paper. I just stamped Faith up here on this little tab piece. Added a little bit of flower trim here and stamped Good News. And then the patterned side shows through the window. But actually, when you're thumbing through it this way, this side's decorated up too, and that's the side you can journal on if you'd like. And I just liked having this lace edge trim the edge of the pocket. Stamping. There's the end of that first signature, second signature. So this one you will notice has yellow lace here, not that vintage green double-tiered lace, because I didn't have enough of it to do both books. So I put the green on the green spine and yellow on the yellow spine, because I didn't have enough yellow to do both books either. So fabric flip, little stamping. There's that manuscript paper. And here's a little tuck spot with some goodies in there. Then more of that lined paper that I printed off. Here's the children's hymnal page in this one, and again the fabric ruffle that I just glued on there, and the charm with looks like a lily. And then in this one, this is where I put the chevron pocket. So they're in a little bit different place in each one, but it worked better in this spot in this journal, and worked better in the other journal where I put it. So here's that watercolor paper. And I did stamp, take time to cherish the special moments. And then cluster that I made up here, just anchoring it in. And then a cluster on the back side too with the beautiful butterfly. And then this just kind of tucks up there. It's pretty stiff because the base piece was a piece of a Kleenex box that had a pretty pattern on it. But I just tucked a little journal card up under there, and then here's that image of the children praying. I just love that stamp. Another tuck spot. I needed to go back and glue this down, so I will do that after I turn off the camera. But here's the Easter tag. This one has pretty pink eggs and gorgeous. They're just gorgeous. They're like reproduction vintage tags. But here's the journal card and the note paper. And then this pocket again with the ephemera. This one has an orange or a coral paint sample. And then here's our sack. So on this one, it was lined with green, and I have a blue envelope. Same kind of thing. I stamped a little. I wasn't going to show you, but I might as well. This one says love. Isn't that cute? And then a different label here as well, and this Bible trivia game. I liked the bright colors in it, and it's shallow enough in this pocket for it to fit in there. And then I just added some fabric strips here for interest, washi tape. Here's a cluster, which I forgot to put anything up under there, but that means it's just ready to be used by someone else. Here's a stamp, the back half of the bag. With just a journal card in there, but it's got plenty of room to add other stuff. And this pocket as well. This one has a chocolate donut. And this Hermelinda tag. Different stamping. I really like that paper. Isn't that pretty? Just looks really pretty. And here's a cluster I made. This one says miracle, because Easter is a miracle. And here's our bird's nest embellishment again. And the other half of our beautiful children's music. Here's this one. And then another coloring sheet. This one has Easter lilies and another vintage What Am I card. And here's the envelope. I don't need to show you that again because it's identical to the other one, except that this ruffle is a different fabric. That's about the only difference. So it also has some note paper in there. And that is the end of that signature. So those are my 2 journals for Easter. Okay, and very quickly we will read a quick little inspirational thought for the day. Because it's Easter, I was trying to find something that spoke of Easter and miracles, and this is what I came up with. This theme on this page is joy, and Easter should be bringing us great joy. Well, Christmas and Easter, birth and then death and resurrection of Christ, the 2 most important cornerstone holidays of the Christian faith. So this is a verse from Psalms. It says, I will praise you, O Lord, with all my heart. I will tell of all your wonders. I will be glad and rejoice in you. I will sing praise to your name, O Most High. And then the quote is from Tyrone Edwards, and it says, happiness is like manna. It is to be gathered in grains and enjoyed every day. It will not keep. It cannot be accumulated, nor have we got to go out of ourselves or into remote places to gather it, since it is rained down from heaven at our very doors. I'm going to let that sink in for a second. All right, my friends, I will be having these listed in the shop by the time you see this video. And I think that is all for today. Next week we'll get back to our series on the challenge journal and decorating up You Go Girl. So until next week, I want you all to be inspired and do something creative today. Catch you next week. Bye-bye.